I'll be right back. And copy link. Okay, guys. I am here. And I see there's already somebody in the chat. I'm going to assume there's probably more. Wearing my Ramones t-shirt. So I want to talk about Sparrow Scoop and then I'll get into Andor. So Starfighter, hey Cross, how you doing, man? Starfighter is being financed, kind of like they're gonna more what they do. Look, this is how they actually got some of the money to make The Godfather. Hey Kim, Al Ruddy got credits from vendors so he could get enough money. He needed $25,000 to go to Sicily to film the parts of The Godfather that were basically Michael going to Sicily to go into hiding was a really big thing. And it was really an integral part of the story. So Ruddy went and got these credits. So what happens is those vendors would be back for the next movie, right? That's how it's kind of like, playing, I guess, the stock market. What Favreau is doing is he's trying to finance Starfighter because Lucasfilm doesn't have any money, right? They put all their eggs in The Mandalorian and Grogu. And Starfighter is gonna be, it's not gonna be as expensive. It's very self-contained from what Sean Levy said. And what they're doing is they're betting Mando futures to get the financing to make Starfighter. And so if you're asking, because the rumor came out, well, Mikey Madison, she won the Academy Award for Andor this year. She was offered a role in the movie, and she declined it for Starfighter. Because when the agents asked, how much is it going to be? How much are we going to get? How much is it going to be? How much money is she going to be guaranteed? They didn't know because they didn't have the financing then. Several other actresses were offered roles, and they declined them because there wasn't a set budget because it didn't have any financing. All right. But Sparrow said it looks like they're going to be able to close a deal so they can start tentatively making this movie. Now, if you all remember, get back in the Wayback Machine, Patty Jenkins was going to make Rogue Squadron. And apparently, this movie, Hey Terrible, is taking its place. Now, I'm kind of sad about that because the guy who wrote Rogue Squadron is a really good friend of Cameron's. And from what he said, it was a really good script. So that script is not going to be made. So there you go. But Sean Levy, it looks to me that Jon Favreau was comfortable enough with Levy to have him there at Celebration, and he also gave Kennedy a bone. And when she left, everybody forgot she'd even been there. Okay, we got a lot of shit going down right now. This is I think a Star Wars YouTube fans story dream come true. So there's a Starfighter. What else did Sparrow talk about? The Maul animated show. Darth Maul, Shadow Lord. It appears that Jon Favreau is very serious about looking at the underworld of Star Wars, and so we're getting this show with Darth Maul. Look, I'm still kind of like, why did they keep bringing him back? Are people that fascinated by the character because he looks cool? I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's me. So that's going on, and what else is on there? Cal Kestis is not going to be in Ahsoka season 2. He's not. All right. There's already, and the reason is, I mean, think about it. You've got Ahsoka, you've got Sabine, you've got Ezra, you've got Harrison Dula and her brat, you've got Anakin, you've got Balin, you've got Shin Hati and her outlaw compadres, you've got Thrawn, the Great Mothers, probably Gideon and all the Imperial commanders. You've got Mon Mothma. You probably are going to have Luke, Han, and Leia. All right. I've heard rumors. I've heard pretty positive things about at least Mandalorian and Grogu with that case. And you may see at least Luke Skywalker or maybe Leia in Ahsoka. So he's not going to be in it. Cal's just, so probably in Heir to the Empire, or maybe the next season of Ahsoka. I mean, if there's a next season, I don't know. But there's a lot of changes going on at Lucasfilm. And so there's that. No answers for the failed J.J. Abrams guy named Hughes, I think his name is, looking at writing scripts or doing something for a show for Star Wars. They didn't get that far in the conversation, so there you go. It was a pretty short and to the point scoop. Now, nothing about Kennedy. It's pretty much, I mean, the only way you're going to find out about Kennedy is to actually make the point to ask, because he doesn't, Sparrow just, he doesn't, they don't bring it up anymore. They really don't. So there you go. Want to talk a little bit about Andor. If you liked it, fine. I'm not gonna yell at you for that. I find it very schizophrenic that people could hate on Skeleton Crew, which was very much a Star Wars story, and then watch the woke festival of bullshit in Andor and not be bothered that they liked it so much. And I couldn't see anything that was likable. First off, why is Cassian stealing an experimental fighter? Did we ever get a reason? No. Okay, that's a plot hole. When he lands on Yavin 4 and discovers the guy he was going to meet up to take the fighter is gone, dead, why are there people that I couldn't look? It was such a subplot to nowhere. Cassian getting captured by these people who have absolutely no reason at all to exist there. I mean, I didn't get anything that was a valuable part of the story beyond keeping Cassian from getting a hold of Luthen and then getting a hold of Bix. Okay, that's all it was. You could have taken something that was actually relevant to the story and have that happen. But no, we've got, it was like Cassian's sojourn on Yavin 4 was Canto Bight. I don't know, I don't believe it was. I mean, they're playing rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. I was like, what the fuck? Why would, I mean, I'm watching this morning. I quit watching it last night at the second episode. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. It's too late for me. I'm gonna get nightmares from this shit. Rock, fucking, paper, scissors. Does that have anything to do with Star Wars? That is even worse than Cassian's fat, ugly, lesbian adopted mother, Fiona Shaw, showing up in a hologram after her death saying, fuck the Empire. In universe, where does that make sense? Okay? It's like Gilroy just took a bunch of shit he thought was cool and slapped it in there. All right, rock, paper, scissors. I could do a whole video on how fucking stupid that was. Okay, that was fucking stupid. So then we've got Mon Mothma with a contract marriage of her daughter to this guy. I mean, look, I don't like any of these minor characters in this enough to care about what they're named. So this guy and his wife, and you know, she's 14, the kid's 14, he's 14, and I'm gonna add this to the sexual assault that happened, the fact that Bix might be tough, but she was still fighting a man, and he would have still probably raped her. Okay, the Hollywood idea of women being able, I mean, unless they're Gina Carano, and even then, you wouldn't put Gina Carano in her prime against Mike Tyson in his prime. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't put her in the ring with him now, all right? The sexual assault. Now, I was like watching it going, you know, I know someone's gonna bring up Jabba the Hutt and the dancers and his dancers. Great filmmakers don't show, they imply. They imply what happened. So you don't need to see the guy trying to force himself on Bix. You can have him cross the line and then put the camera on his chauffeur going, what the fuck is going on in there? And all of a sudden, and he hears crash, 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 and all the rest of this shit. And the lieutenant comes up out wobbly and collapses and dies. Hits his chin on that thing and dies. Breaks his neck. You don't have to show what really happened. All right? Now, here's where Tony Gilroy went from 0 to 80 and stupid. THR basically had him on there in an article saying, we're all a product of rape. Because way back in the way back, when people were being conquered and there were wars and revolutions, women got raped. What does that have to do with we're all a product of rape? Then he tries to rationalize it. And I'm going, no, it's not. Now put it with the wedding. Put it with the way he portrays Mon Mothma's husband, her marriage, and then we'll go to the romance. Ain't it? Okay. The Dykes. Velsartha, who's now a redhead, and she's even uglier this year. Then there's another thing too. She's even uglier this time around than she was when she was blonde, and the ugly Indian Pakistani, this girl from Asia, that part of Asia. What is Tony Gilroy saying? He's saying normal heterosexual sex is rape, right? He's saying marriage is a bad thing. And he's saying that lesbos got the romance right, I think. And here's another thing. Let's go full circle into the weirdness that is Andor. Cyril is the stalker, the Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, Richard Speck, BTK, stalker dude of the Imperial ugly hell bitch, Deirdre. They're living together. They're living together. Cyril is a bitch. Cyril is the woman in this. He is a total beta male twat. Okay? He is. And of course, Deirdre dresses like a man, she looks like a man, she acts like a man. They might as well just have a gay relationship. And she might as well just become trans and then do it. Okay? So Cyril's mommy comes to have dinner with them in the upper part of Coruscant. And we've all talked about, we know about Coruscant. We know the levels of the city. There's the upper level where, people like Bail Organa live, where Mon Mothma lives, where Luthen Rawl lives, where the elite live. The Emperor is there. The Jedi, the old Jedi temple where the Emperor's living now, is there. Vader's got, I think, two places he lives. One castle on the man-made lake, two. And then second level, third level, all the way down to level 1313, where it's pretty much the underworld, okay? So she shows up. How many here have seen the TV show Rome? All right? Remember the girl that played Cleopatra? She did a really good job. The woman that plays Cyril's mummy was Cleopatra's nurse, all right? And basically what royalty back in the day, like princesses, they always had like a handmaiden and like an older like mom, a nurse, because their mom, who would be the queen, was too busy to take care of them herself, which is like, gay on steroids. So this lady was like her nurse nanny and had been with her since she was born. Weirdest fucking woman. She's barely not a little person. She's about that big. I mean, she's tiny. She's got the weirdest looking face. And we all saw that. Basically, we're lucky that Cyril isn't a serial killer because of her. I mean, this is John Wayne Gacy shit with his parents. I'm not kidding. She treats him like shit. And there's a reason why he's such a fucked up mess. Mommy, Daddy just flew the coop. And you can't really blame him. So, Mommy shows up, basically insults Deirdre right off the bat. You're nothing like I thought you would look. Okay. And ends up saying shitty things to Cyril, who gets up and leaves. I mean, he's Ted fucking Bundy. He's the fucking weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Deirdre tells Mommy off. And then Cyril comes back out and they all have dessert. And Mommy is with her plate with this cake stabbing it like that. And I'm like, this is not good storytelling. This is fucking weird. How can people like this? Okay, now let's go to Deirdre. So, I think it was episode 1. You see Deirdre sitting with her boss. Guess who's standing in the front of this group of, they're sitting around a U-shaped conference table. Orson Krennic. There's a character that I can, okay, there's Krennic. He puts on like this weird PR video from this planet called Gorman Prime Gorman. And it's about this type of high quality tweed that this planet is known for, that is created by the silk of these spiders. And at the end of it, and they're all going, I mean, Deirdre's like, what the fuck, you know? We find out that this planet is sitting on a type of mineral that would be helpful to protect something on the Death Star. I think Krennic said lenses. I don't want to have to go back to watch that again. If someone could give me the transcript, I'll read it. Anyway, I think it's called calcite. And they started spitballing how to commit genocide to get that population off of Gorman so they could go in and start mining this mineral. And Krennic gives Deirdre the job. And it's like all the little things they said. Like this was, how many here know what the Wannsee Conference was? Wannsee Protocols. All right, back in 1942, January, there's a house, I've been to it, on the lake. It's within the Berlin district, but it's kind of outside the main part of the city in an area called Wannsee. Wansee, Wannsee. And it was a big, beautiful like villa, and the SS owned it. The SS bought it and owned it. Let's pretend that it had been owned by Jews before they kicked him out. Okay, beautiful place. Reinhard Heydrich, the Reichsprotector of Bohemia and Moravia, decided to have a conference there to talk about the final solution to the Jewish question. Now you're looking at this conference in Andor, and it makes perfect sense what they're talking about. This is where Tony Gilroy got the idea, from an actual historical event, okay? You know, the names that were at that conference, Adolf Eichmann, and others, just to name a few. Unbelievable. The lawyer that actually created the 1936 Nuremberg laws that basically drove Jews out of careers, education, the medical field, etc. Basically, you know, that guy was there. Hermann Goering sent a representative of his own. And that's what it was. Because like the Wannsee Conference, Krennic says there will be no notes. There will be no droids. Any droids that are here get their minds wiped, get their memories wiped. There will be no record of this meeting. Okay? That's what he said, and that's what they did at the Wannsee Conference. The other reason why Everybody knew it happened, and everybody was like, yeah, they could, yeah, here's the proof. For the Nuremberg trials, I can't remember which Nazi had kept his notes, but a set of notes dealing with the conference was found and used at the Nuremberg trials to convict Goering, you know, and everybody else. Okay, Hans Joachim von Ribbentrop, all these guys. All right, because they were screaming. I was following orders. Orders from who? The only person whose name does not show up is Hitler's. That was what we call basically plausible deniability. And it's like, you know, there you go. So what they're doing, Krennic, is he's creating plausible deniability for the Emperor in case the operation on Gorman goes south. And this, what I love about this is, again, Tony Gilroy. We know that the Empire committed genocide. How many people are familiar with Star Wars episodes 1 through 6, read the EU, and never knew anything about this fucking planet Gorman? Okay, it's just something to throw in there. Then we'll go back to Mineral, where the assault took place. The Imperials show up to do an inspection, and they're basically auditing these farms. It's a huge agricultural planet, and Cassian Andor's people that are waiting for him know they're illegal. When the bad guy goes to rape Bix, he says, we know you're not legal, you don't have a legal visa. All right, let's put it in the perspective of an ICE agent. You don't have a legal visa to be here. You have MS-13 tattoos. You got to go back to Venezuela, or we're going to send you to El Salvador. Okay, but you can't stay here. You know. All right. Now, Bix is part of the nascent rebellion. And so therefore, she is an enemy of the state. And it's like, what you guys are trying to say is that the illegal aliens who are here, that are criminals, are like Bix and Cassian Andor. Is that it? Is that what you're trying to say? Everybody looks around. Yeah. You're telling me that MS-13 drug dealers, pedophiles, murderers that were sent from Venezuela, Trinidad too, and they do have connections. The White House just put that out there to the Venezuelan government to start operations to destabilize the United States. You're saying that those gangbangers are just like Bix and Cassian. No, they're not. Okay, they're not. What I find interesting is the Mon Mothma thing. I can't remember who the guy with the white hair is that she made the deal with for the money, the foundation. She's basically making a foundation like Hillary Clinton did, the Clinton Foundation. And you gotta wonder, is Tony Gilroy really that stupid? And the answer is yes. Yes, he is. All right. Um, I don't see this show doing as well as people think it is. I know it's getting a lot of hype right now. Um, eights and nines on IMDb and stuff like that. I haven't looked. But it's full of plot holes. Why is Cassian stealing that fighter? Why are those guys who apparently they're rebels on Yavin 4? Why did they kill the guy he was meeting up? And what are they doing? That was, you could have done anything that would have connected it to the story instead of he's just being held up by a group of guys because you can't figure out how to do it, right? And that's what that was, right? All right. Mon Mothma shows up with her daughter on Chandrila. They're marrying the kid off. Luthen shows up. He gets like 5 lines. This is the only character I give a shit about. And she's told by the... See, the thing about it, the whispered conversations, how loud do we have to put the sound on so we can hear what they're fucking saying? It's slow. It's tedious. You misunderstand things people are saying. And there are plot holes in it. Plot holes in it. The fighter, why'd they steal it? What's the big deal about it? What is, I can't remember the significance of marrying the daughter off, and the weird stuff. And then at the very end, Disco Inferno. That's what that was. All right, we go from fucking rock, paper, scissors to Disco Inferno. I'm like, and in between, we get a sexual assault. And of course, the woman killing the guy, which it would be the other way around. We get lesbians because it's woke. And when people say, well, it's not really that woke, it's like, look, the dyke mommies on Skeleton Crew, it took them at least 3 episodes or 4 episodes to be like, okay, that's what that is. And even then, it wasn't part of the plot, part of the show. Guess what's part of the show? Ugly Vel and her even uglier friend who shows up to pick up the guy with the money. You know, and it's, I'm watching this going, you know, maybe we will get Mads Mikkelsen in this, hopefully. You know, what they gotta do, look, first off, it has too many subplots. Get rid of Vel, get rid of the other bitch. The subplot of Mon Mothma and her marriage to that creepy guy is unneeded. We don't need to see that part. It was very much watching Mothma carefully trod around and maneuver in the political hotbed that is the Imperial Senate. All right? And then you could have Jimmy Smits show up. All right, acting like he's part of the problem, but she knows underneath he's not. Okay, she knows underneath that Alderaan is on their side. All right, we didn't need I think when I look at the Mon Mothma marriage and her marrying her daughter off, we didn't need the attack on marriage. And that's what it was. Then, of course, there's Deirdre, who is a character I don't like. However, without Cyril, the character actually is kind of an interesting character on its own because she's got the job that's going to smear the Empire as a bunch of genocidal freaks. Not that people would know it by the behavior of Darth Vader and the Emperor himself and Grand Moff Tarkin and the other Moffs and Grand Admiral Thrawn, okay? You know, it would put her up there with them, all right? We don't see there are too many people, there's too much going on. Get rid of Cassian, have it about Luthen. Cassian Andor could be played by any, let's say, an Imperial fighter pilot that just walked away, that went AWOL, okay, and decided to kick around. Luthen finds him, says, I need you to do this. He goes and does it. I mean, and have the guy look like an Imperial pilot, shaved, nice haircut, wearing the proper uniform. Diego Luna looks like he's been dragged through the mud 90% of the time, even when he's not playing the character. It's like, do you ever shower? You know, and he's supposed to be an Imperial pilot. I mean, look, you could say that about the guy that played Riz Ahmed, who played the pilot in Rogue One. Long hair, big beard. Then why? All right, look. You don't want to shave the beard because it's against your religion. Okay, Riz. Then you're not playing the role. All right. The fact that they cannot, that when they get to the point where they're having to impersonate an Imperial, they can't do it the way that would get them through. You got Cassian showing up with long hair and that scruff. You know, I mean, and like in The Last Crusade, when Indy and his dad show up in Berlin and they run into Hitler, Indy's got the 12 o'clock shadow. I'm like, that was a part, I'm like, dude would have been seen from 1,000 yards away by the other SS officers as being out of uniform because of his 5 o'clock shadow. Okay, so, all right. But it didn't take me out of the show because it was that well written. Cassian being out of uniform takes me out of the show. All right. I mean, I don't expect much from Tony Gilroy, but for fuck's sake. And Cassian really isn't even needed. I mean, and if he is, shrink the part up, give Luthen more. All right. Have Luthen go out and recruit the pilot. Have the pilot go get the fighter and then drop it off where they need to have it dropped off. Luthen pays him and off he goes. All right. There's plenty of opportunity to do a really good story like that without Cassian Andor, who didn't know how to fucking fly it to begin with. Yeah, they have to walk like they own the place. I'm like, you know, and then the fat chick in the beginning says her friend said he was cute. His lack of testosterone makes him just, you know, in my opinion, just yuck to the 10th degree. Anyway, so we've got the Sparrow scoop. Starfighter will probably happen. It looks like Favreau's, because Kathleen Kennedy spent, oh, this is another thing about Andor. Guess how much money they spent? Yeah, Gareth Edwards was fired. Guess how much money they spent making Andor? Guess. No one can guess? $600 million. 600 million. You can make 2 Star Wars movies for that and a Star Wars streaming show. Right? And we're supposed to like this. You want to know why Lucasfilm doesn't have any money? This piece of shit. Okay? This piece of shit. All right? I would, so the plot to nowhere. Yep, that much. That much. $600 million. But, season two. And it's like, I'm like, I don't understand how that could possibly be. Now, there are 12 episodes. We're going to get 3 more episodes. It's going to be a year later, I think. It's 4 years. So I think we're going to do this year. Maybe this next one will tie into this one. Then we're going to get this one, third, and it'll tie into this one. And then the 4th year will tie into the 6th week. All right. Because this is the last season. We're not going to see it anymore. All right. And thank God. Now, $600 million. So Starfighter can't just get financed because Kennedy spent so much money on this garbage. All right. And there you go. Okay. So they got to get financing for it. They're trying to get a line of credit. All right. And it looks like they will. And they're going to put up Mando's get to over like be the backing for the loan. And Sean Levy did say it's not going to be a very big movie. It's going to be very self-contained, and it doesn't have anything to do with the Skywalker saga at all. So even if it is in the era after the sequel trilogy, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Now, so there's that. Cal Kestis is not going to be in Ahsoka, and which is like, again, if you put him into it, you run the risk of having too many characters like Andor. Let's see what else. So there's that. The Mall animated show. We didn't, Cameron didn't see that coming, but it also confirms that John wants to look at the underworld. Okay. So there's Sparrow Scope. Talked about Andor, the stolen spaceship to nowhere, rock, paper, scissors, the attack on marriage, the lesbos, and the unneeded sexual assault. All right. I give Andor, if you rated it, 1 being horrible and 10 being like The Empire Strikes Back, great, I give it a 2. All right. It's just, and I will watch it so you don't have to. And you guys know I will spoil the motherfuck out of this thing every fucking week. All right. I don't want Kennedy to get any credit. She's the bitch behind it. She's the one that spent $600 million on a streaming show, on a fucking streaming show. All right. Anyway, I gotta go. Got some stuff to do with the dog. Gonna go see the horse. And you guys have a good day. And I'll see you around the galaxy. If we hear anything more from Sparrow or about the Kennedy news from yesterday saying she was leaving in August, I will be back. All right. See you guys around the galaxy.